FOMO.
My name is Patrick J. McGinnis, and I'm a FOMO Sapiens. And since you're here, I'm going to bet that you are too. And when you're like us and Monday comes around, you don't dread the new week. No, you wake up every Monday morning knowing that this week might just be the best one yet. This is FOMOnday, the snackable show that starts your week right with hot takes, life hacks, listener mail, and even some FOMO therapy. Hey everybody, welcome to FOMOndays, the snackable companion show to FOMO Sapiens, which of course will be back on Thursday with a brand new episode. But until then, happy FOMOnday, best day of the week. I'm your host, Patrick J. McGinnis, venture capitalist by day, author and podcaster by night, and of course, FOMO Sapiens 24/7. And today, in advance of my conversation on Thursday, I want to talk about how to increase your lifespan. Now, on Thursday, this is so relevant because my guest is 103 years old. So she has seen a lot of things. She's also a functional medical doctor. One of the first, when she became a doctor, women couldn't even own their own bank accounts. Think about that one. So she has been at it for a very long time, and she has seen a lot of things. She met Gandhi when she was a little girl living in India. Her parents, I believe, were missionaries there. So she's just fantastic. Her name is Dr. Gladys McGarry, and you're going to love the conversation. So much wisdom. She knows how to crush it without getting crushed. And that is what we're trying to achieve here this season on FOMO Sapiens. So as part of that, thinking about how to increase one's lifespan, I wanted to talk about that because I just went to the doctor. I went to the doctor, which shouldn't be a big deal, by the way, but it is because I hadn't been in a little while, especially with COVID and stuff, and because I have a deathly fear of doctors, because when I was a little boy, my doctor, I'm not going to say his last name, it starts with a P, in Kennebunk, Maine, he told me that when I came to the doctor, he looked at me and he said, "You haven't been starving yourself, have you?" And that began my lifelong fear of doctors because I was a chunky kid and my doctors would always pick on me a little bit. And I know they were trying to help me, but it just didn't reach the right neurons and it made me feel bad. And so I really hate going to the doctor. I get so stressed out. And I decided to go to a hypnotist to rethink my relationship with that kind of stuff. And it has worked. It has worked. And I signed up for One Medical, which is a wonderful company here in the US that makes going to the doctor easier. There's tons of these, by the way. But now there's so much more tech in the world of going to see a doctor that it's just much less friction in the process, which for me makes it a lot easier. And then, of course, working with Daniel and just basically getting over this fear, it inspired me to get all my checkups and all my things. And guess what? Everything is fine. Everything is fine. Now, I'm one of those people, you do your blood work and they send you the test, the results and stuff, and then they send you a little note and interpret them like a week later. Well, of course, I look at them and think I'm dying, even if everything's fine, because I guess that's just who I am. But thanks to Daniel, I've been able to get over that little fear. And that is so important. So that's really, really why I started thinking about this. The other thing is because right now in New York City, just a lot of things are going around. I mean, people are getting pink eye and strep throat and COVID and who knows what else. So it's important to be in touch with your health if you want to crush it without getting crushed, and to think about how to do this, how to expand our lifespan. I went back to a book that we talked about on the show a couple seasons back, written by my friend Sergey Young. Sergey is a venture capitalist who invests in longevity, and he wrote a book that I super love called The Science and Technology of Growing Young. Sergey is just a good dude. He's people, and he came to New York, and we had an awesome time together. He looks amazing. This guy, he's doing all the things he says. And what I love about the book, the part that stuck with me the most, was that he had this little section in the back. I have it right here with me. I've got the physical book here, that right there. And it says, "Who wants to live forever? The 10 attitudes, habits, and choices you need to take advantage of in the longevity revolution now." So I read that, and at the time, actually, it stuck with me. And this is another reason I went to Daniel and went to the doctor, because he has great advice. And I want to just share some of these with you today on FOMOnday, some of the top highlights, because these are the things. It's like, these are table stakes for staying healthy and trying to, maintain your well-being. And so I want to talk about those starting right after the break.
FOMO. FOMO.
All right, everybody. So Sergey Young's advice on how to expand your longevity is the way I'm going to say it. I was going to call this episode How Not to Die, but I don't know. It didn't feel very nice. So, number one, you better check yourself, is what he writes. And what does that mean? Well, what I just talked about. Go to the doctor every year. Get your annual checkup. And by the way, you can also do, like, for example, if you have histories of certain problems in your family, like colon cancer, you should get the colonoscopy. There's also an at-home test you can do in between, Cologuard, something like that. There's all these different at-home tests and diagnostics now you can do. Now, it's all going to get way better in the future, but go to see your primary care physician, get all your blood work, figure out what's going on with your health so that you can address those things early on before they become terrible for you. Number two, quit your bad habits. Now, this is the one I don't like. Not fun at all. It's like, it's all the stuff we know we shouldn't do. Obviously, do not smoke. Do not drink. Cut down on your sugar. This guy's just not fun. I got to be honest with you. But cutting down on sugar, those three things right there, huge. And there's a woman called the Glucose Goddess, by the way, on Instagram. She is fantastic. Go check her out if you want to cut down on your glucose. I've been using her little tricks. I met her this summer and she just stuck with me. I gave my mom her book. So check that out, Glucose Goddess. She will help you to cut down on your sugar. Next, don't do dumb things. Okay. It makes me think of, and I'm not picking on these people at all because it's tragic, but don't go in an unsafe submarine to see the Titanic. Don't skydive. Don't bungee jump. I mean, these things, again, are small chances, but wear your seatbelt, stuff like that. Don't get impaired and get in a car and drive. Just don't do the dumb things. Very important. Number 4, this is one I don't like either. Eat early and less often. So intermittent fasting, sure, which I do, and many of you probably do as well. But I like to do a little bit of a later version of that. So I guess I'm killing myself, but we're meant to eat earlier and less often. Number 5, let food be your medicine. For sure, right? Food, vitamins, thinking about how food can be helpful to you. I always hear these stories, and I believe them actually because they're people that are credible. You make a big change in what you eat. You cut out certain things or you add certain things in, and they can be incredibly helpful to your health. Like if you cut out all the junk and then you get your cholesterol test, it's going to be way lower. That's really important. So cutting down on animal products, drinking a lot of water, trying to hit organics when you can, go for the greens, all that stuff. These are daily small choices you can make to live longer. Next, supplement your nutrition. And I like this. It's interesting. So all of these, I was recently with a woman who works in longevity, and she's on all these things. I mean, she's on every supplement under the sun, plus metformin, plus all these other things. Like, it's the way I think about it, a lot of people don't believe in it. I mean, I think the science is pretty clear on some of this stuff. And we had on a wonderful guest who had a drinkable vitamin company. And that was kind of interesting last season. But I take supplements every day. And I heard this crazy stat. I think it was a New York Times article that some of the really wealthy people who are obsessed with this stuff, with living forever, they're taking like 200 pills a day, supplements of different types. Like, I'm not sure I could ever figure that out. You need a staff. You're a billionaire. You got a whole vitamin person at that point. But I take magnesium glycinate for sleeping, and it's good for your heart. I take vitamin C. I take a probiotic, some other stuff like that. Consider it. Talk to somebody who can help you pick those things out and, try it out. Number 7, move. Exercise. I don't have to sell you on that. That one's pretty obvious. There's no controversy on that one. Number 8, make sleep your superpower. You know what? That's a big one. We've talked about this on the show. Of course, we've had Pluto pillows on. We've had Barabee blankets. I am bringing on this crazy sleep doctor this year. Crazy, not crazy, but crazy awesome that I met. He is the man who understands all the stuff. He's going to give us all his tips. So watch out for that. We're getting that this season. Very important for FOMO Sapiens to sleep. 9, mindfulness. Again, that's a classic FOMO Sapiens topic. We've talked about a bunch. Go back and listen to some episodes. Agapi, who we just had on, was great. Jay Shetty. There's a million, but that is so important to your overall health and well-being. And finally, Think and grow young. It's a mindset thing. It's a mindset thing. And so I was over the weekend at a party and somebody was talking about, we're all so old. And there was a woman there who was older than us who looked absolutely incredible. And she was like, I don't think about that. It's a state of mind. And I think that's very healthy. So, just keep thinking that way. Hang out with people who are of different ages than you. Learn from them. You don't have to necessarily know all the cool songs on Spotify and go see the Barbie movie. If you want to do that, you should do that. But just try to keep a youthful approach to life. So important. When you listen to Gladys, you'll see she is not thinking about, I'm 102, 103, I can't do this or that. She's just doing it. Very inspiring. All right, so that's how you stay alive. That's how you extend your life. Of course, there'll be so much more to talk about with Dr. Gladys McGarry on Thursday. So just stay alive till Thursday at least. And until I see you next, take care of yourselves. FOMO Sapiens.
FOMO.
If you like today's show, please be sure to rate it and recommend it to your friends. And as always, you can find me on Instagram at Patrick J. McGinnis, on Twitter at PJ McGinnis, and on the web at FOMOSapiens.com or PatrickMcGinnis.com, where you can get all kinds of free resources to live a more decisive and entrepreneurial life.
FOMO.
Want more FOMO Sapiens and FOMOnday? Head over to FOMOSapiens.com where you can listen to past episodes, learn more about the show, and find out how to advertise. You can also connect with me on Instagram at Patrick J. McGinnis and on Twitter at PJ McGinnis.